You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You are listening live to the Vito and Vito Show. Disrespectful to the executive branch.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
Don't sign the damn deal, and the president won't.
Therefore, I do not believe that the majority can vote a man's life or property or freedom away from him.
And we're live here on the Vito and Vito Show after a long vacation. I'm Vito.
Yeah, I'm Vito.
We want to welcome everybody here to Vito and Vito. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com, and give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show, and allow my co-host to explain what you're listening to. After a long week, was it a while, right?
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
We had to celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas and Festivus.
It's not my fault all these holidays fell on the same day, so go ahead, allow my co-host to explain what you're listening to.
Well, you're listening to 2 college-age, millennial, conservative libertarians at a liberal household, Brooklyn, New York, where we are committed to defending the principles of free markets, liberty, and individualism. We hold no punches on the show.
None whatsoever, and we're so happy to be back with you, Vito. It's a pleasure to be back on the airwaves with these great people of America, these great patriots.
What did you get for Hanukkah? That's the real question.
For Hanukkah, I got a lot of cool gifts. I'm not Jewish. I didn't celebrate Hanukkah, but we get gifts anyway.
I think it's a good reason.
A lot of liquor. What else did we do?
We celebrated Festivus.
Festivus. We had the airing of the grievances.
You got pull
of course, Christmas came and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we do?
George Michael died.
Oh.
On Christmas.
So sad.
So my Christmas was ruined.
So sad. It was his last Christmas, Vito.
Really?
Like, wham, it went just like that.
Well, he got his freedom now.
He got his freedom now, exactly. And it was nothing but a careless whisper into the night when he died.
That's
But he was an 80s icon.
Of course.
Yeah, and conservatives and liberals alike are all pretty much telling him, wishing him goodwill and all that stuff. And he was very outspoken with his homosexuality, but he was still an 80s icon. It's such a shame to see that poor guy go.
I know.
Such a shame. Young. He was, 53, 52?
53.
53. So young. Such a shame.
We still don't really know why. What happened?
Yeah, they're still waiting on the autopsy.
Did he say he went peacefully? You don't go peacefully at 53.
Yeah, that is true. You had, don't forget, also 2016 had Prince and David Bowie dying. Florence Henderson from the Brady Bunch. So just an awful year for celebrity deaths. And, this one's for you guys. Don't know if you like us. Don't know if you're a big fan of Vito and Vito. Don't know if you're a fan of conservative talk radio, but this one's for you. What else do we got, Vito, here on this program? We got a good show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. After a long week off, we are back. A couple of weeks off. We're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. After celebrating the wonderful holiday season, we hope yours was just as great as ours. Who do we have lined up tonight, Vito? We have City Council candidate in Brooklyn, New York, Bob Capano, coming on. He was a frequent guest of the show. He's making an appearance tonight to talk about the Blue Lives Matter bill. We know cops in this country are being victimized and attacked every single day, and we're trying to do everything we can here in the city of New York, the People's Republic of New York, to try to change that. And Bob Capano running for office here in Brooklyn, New York, for the city council seat, so we could fight on Mayor de Blasio. We're going to see what it is that the Blue Lives Matter bill holds. Don't forget, we also are going to talk about later on this evening the abuse. Did you see this attack, Vito?
You saw this is all over the news.
All over the news. About 4 or 5 African-American youths beating up a special needs child who was white, screaming, "It's Trump's America, F Donald Trump," all things like that. So we're going to talk about if it's a hate crime or not, because a lot of people have come out and said it's not a hate crime, believe it or not. Simone Sanders, former, I think, communications director or something like that for Bernie Sanders, came out and pretty much said it is not a hate crime. We're going to talk about the hypocrisy on the left and, of course, forget about it moments of the week. So it's a pleasure to have you on here on the Vito and Vito Show, and we're going to get started right away. We're going to talk with Bob Capano. Very shortly, he'll be calling into the program, and, of course, we're going to talk about this ridiculous double standard the left has in regards to hate crimes. First of all, I just want to start off by saying, in regards to the police officers out there, thank you. I hope you guys have a safe 2017. As the rest of our listeners, I hope you all have a safe 2017. But more importantly, the police officers who risk their lives every single day on the police force, we hope you have a safe 2017. Because while people are out there chanting for the death of cops, screaming and yelling for the death of police officers, like we seen in New York a couple of months ago, we want our police officers out there to know that we got their back. And we want them to know that we have their full understanding. We totally get them, and we want to stand with them 100% of the way. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And frankly, right now, what we've seen from President Obama, who's on his way out, from what we've seen with Mayor de Blasio here in New York City, Al Sharpton, Black Lives Matter, all of these radical social justice warriors fighting and trying to take down the very people who protect their individual rights. We're out here trying to protect them and trying to give them a voice because they do not have any. So Blue Lives Matter, we're going to talk about the Blue Lives Matter bill right now up in Albany, New York. We're going to talk about that and just see what kind of traction that gains. Like we said, we're going to talk to Bob Capano. And not for nothing, Bob was on Tucker Carlson a couple of weeks ago, was it?
Yeah, talking about what he's doing in the city council and the shoot-up galleries.
Yeah, they're heroin injection facilities. You can check him out at bobcapano.com. This guy really is a stalwart, and we love what he does. He is standing up for the rights of New Yorkers and for common sense government. Bob Capano fighting against the hypocrisy of the left. And frankly, when we look at all of these things going on right now, we see that Bob Capano is a strong fighter. A strong fighter for the middle class. We see him as a strong fighter for conservative values in New York. And we're going to try to defend those values as much as we can when he comes on and gives us a call in just a bit. But Vito, let's talk about the Blue Lives Matter bill. We're going to have Bob come on to explain it in further depth. But I want to talk about the Blue Lives Matter bill. It actually makes it a hate crime to attack a police officer. Now, what do you think of that?
I think it's a good idea. I like that.
I kind of do too. And here he is. He's giving us a call right now, so let's bring him on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here he is, City Council candidate Bob Capano. Bob, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Vito. Thank you.
Hey, Bob, it's a pleasure to have you on. How was your New Year's? I hope everything was great.
Yes, Happy New Year to you guys and your listeners across the country.
Awesome. We love it. All right, Bob, so tell us, what is this Blue Lives, because we're just about to get into it, but you gave us a call, so you might as well explain, what is the Blue Lives Matter bill right now up in Albany about?
Well, a good friend of mine across the Verrazano Bridge from me in Staten Island, Ron Castorina, great assemblyman, introduced a Blue Lives Matter law last session. And what this basically would do is it would classify any attack or use of physical force against a police officer as a hate crime. And in New York State, any hate crime, the offense is upgraded to the next level up. So, for example, here in New York, assaulting a police officer would go from a Class C to a Class B felony. Aggravated assault against a cop would go from a Class B to a Class A felony. if this bill were to become a reality. So that's the details of the bill. Louisiana has enacted a Blue Lives Matter law. Texas is currently considering one, as well as some other states as well.
Well, we're going to talk about this later on in the program, Bob. But you saw that video, right, of about 4 African American teens beating up a special needs white child, screaming, "This is Donald Trump's America, F Donald Trump, F the white man," stuff like that. So it was completely racist. It was completely racist against pretty much white Americans. And the question here is it okay? The question I'm trying to ask is it okay for hate crime legislation to even be in place? Because I know a lot of people have questions about whether or not hate crime legislation is legitimate.
Well, look, if we have hate crime legislation, which we do right now, and so that door, if you will, and I think what you're getting at, that Pandora's box has been opened. You know, I do think police officers should be included in that. Now, look, if we didn't have any hate crime legislation, I certainly wouldn't be advocating this for police. You know, to me, part of me says, look, everybody should be treated equally. A crime against one person is a crime against everybody, and everything should be equal. But the bottom line is that police officers, just because of the color of their uniform, have a target on their backs. And I have to tell you, as a nephew of 2 retired NYPD cops, it makes me sick the way our cops have been treated over the past couple of years. And look, I have to tell you, 2016 was a deadly year for cops. The number of law enforcement officers killed by gunfire increased 56% last year compared to 2015. You know, there were 21 ambush-style shootings against cops, which is the highest number of those in 2 decades. So we need the law that's going to protect these cops and increase offenses. I mean, look, here in New York City, you know, we can't, you know, no one forgets the assassination, literally the assassinations of police officers Ramos and Liu. We look at the protests not too long ago on the Brooklyn Bridge, where cops were punched and kicked. You know, these protesters like to talk about their freedom of speech and their constitutional rights, but guess what? Police have constitutional rights too, and the pursuit of happiness includes them returning from their shifts alive and without bullets in their bodies.
Well, why is this a need in the first place? In other words, you know, we hear a lot from the left that pretty much police are a special class, they're protected, etc., etc. So why is this an important piece of legislation in the first place? Why do cops need to be protected by law with legislation like this?
Well, because what's happening now, unfortunately, is there is an attitude in a segment of society that believes you can mouth off to the police, you could disregard the instructions from an officer, and you can resist arrest. And this has been a big contributing factor to these attacks on police officers. So it's an unfortunate reality with what we've seen over the past couple of years, you know, where the Black Lives Matter movement has done enormous damage to American law enforcement, that unfortunately, you know, we need this special legislation to stand up for our police officers.
Well, I totally agree with you there, Bob. So explain to me this. This law would make it a hate crime to attack a police officer. It would increase penalties. Just how effective do you think this law will work in pretty much deterring people from attacking police officers? Because it's been going on across the country, like we saw in Dallas, we saw it here in New York. So how does
Baton Rouge, yeah.
Baton Rouge, exactly. So just how effective do you think this law can be?
Well, look, do I hope it has some deterrence? You know, to me, even if it deters one person from assaulting or taking a shot at a cop, it's worth it. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
I will say that yes, most more of it is probably symbolic, but you know what? Cops deserve the symbolism of support from their elected leaders and officials. And unfortunately, in New York City, with Mayor de Blasio, that support is sorely lacking. So if the state legislature has to step in to show support for our officers throughout the state, and particularly in New York City, to pick up the slack for Mayor de Blasio and our city council, who sees more often than not are willing to question the police, rather than those who are actually breaking the law, so be it.
So pretty much, Bob, answer this question. What do you have to tell or say to Mayor de Blasio in regards to the abuse on police officers? I mean, he hasn't been on the side of the police, but what do you have to say to him? Because listeners across the country know who he is, and listeners across the country do not like him, and his liberal badgering and his liberal agenda in taking down the police in favor of social justice warriors. So what do you have to say to Mayor de Blasio? What do you have to say to the city council who do not stand up for police officers?
I would say to them that our police officers, our men and women in blue, are the guardians of our freedom. Those are the people, those men and women who keep us safe at night. They brought crime down in the city under Giuliani and Bloomberg because they were free to do their job, and they had the support of our administration. And Mayor de Blasio, you sent the wrong tone in your very first days in office when you said you had to have a talk with your son about our police and to be fearful of them. To me, that just encouraged others to say, hey, maybe I don't have to respect the authority of our police. And when you don't respect the authority of the police, when you resist arrest, that's how we have these unfortunate incidents where, people are hurt and people, and it leads to a bad situation all around. I mean, the police have to be respected. And look, those police that do the wrong thing, those police that break the law, those police that abuse their authority, of course, they should be punished.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you there, Bob. Absolutely. I mean, those police officers who do overstep their bounds should be punished. But unfortunately, so many different people on the left seem to attack police officers and tell them that they're no good. So the question is, Bob, here, and I'll wrap up our interview, what do you intend to do in the city council? Now, for those of you who don't know, the city council is a legislative body beside the mayor, who is responsible for passing legislation in the city of New York. What do you intend to do when you run for city council in order to protect police officers? I know you want to sign on board this bill, but this is an assembly bill in the New York State legislature. So what would you do in New York City, the municipality? How would you protect police officers, unlike the rest of the city council and the mayor?
I mean, the New York City Police Department is going to have no stronger advocate than Bob Capano for them in the city council. I mean, I am going to advocate for their safety. I'm going to advocate that they get the pay equity that they deserve. Mm-hmm. To me, it was absolutely ridiculous that city council members gave themselves a 32% raise, and the police officers were offered a 1% raise by this administration. Mm-hmm. One of the first bills I will introduce to show my support for the police is I will introduce a bill to actually lower the city council salary. And if that doesn't pass, if it doesn't pass, I'm going to donate a portion of my salary, of that increased salary that should have never happened in the first place, to the Police Benevolent Association Police Memorial Fund to help those officers' families that unfortunately lose their lives. And because we do need to support our police, not only symbolically, but in real terms and in real dollars and with real laws that protect them.
Well, Bob, I tell you, you're doing a great job, and we wish you nothing but the best, and we're helping you in your campaign because we really want you to win, and we want to send some shockwaves throughout the nation and through the city. So where can we go to donate, to find more about this campaign, if you're listening across the country? So where do we go?
Thank you for saying that. I have my website, bobcapano.com, and I should say late last year, in support of Assemblyman Castorina's law, the Blue Lives Matter law, I started an online petition drive. We ended it December 31st, and I'm proud to say that we met our goal of getting over 3,000 people to sign that petition in New York City to say that we wanted a New York State Blue Lives Matter law. To me, that symbolizes and shows that the people of the boroughs, the people of the neighborhoods support our police, and that this mayor and this city council is out of step in their views of law enforcement in comparison to the people that they're supposed to represent.
And Bob, I tell you, that is just what we want to hear. Head over to bobcapano.com to help him out. And we want to thank you, Bob, for coming on the program tonight. We appreciate it, and we wish you nothing but the best. And we'd love to have you back on soon. Thanks so much, Bob.
Thank you, guys. Keep up the good fight.
Thanks, buddy. That was Bob Capano here on Vito and Vito. Check out his website, www.bobcapano.com. The guy is amazing, and we wish him nothing but the best. And we're going to continue to help him, and we're going to continue to fight for victory here in New York. We're going to try to make incremental changes. And let's not forget, Rudy Giuliani made some big changes in New York, and it was a small victory compared to the rest of the city. So let's go ahead and fight for Bob Capano. Go to the website, bobcapano.com. Visit our website, vitoandvito.com, to find out more information about us and how you can get involved in this great campaign with Bob Capano. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks. When we return, we're going to talk about the assault on white Americans in this country. That's right, no political correctness here. White Americans under assault right here on Vito and Vito.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the California Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. Separated. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org, brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Back here on the Vito and Vito Show, we want to welcome you. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show.
That's right. Bob Capano, my favorite city council candidate, can say that. I think it was a nice interview. Blue Lives Matter. We know this. I support making a hate crime if an officer is attacked, because you're attacking the cop for one reason, because they're a cop. Mm-hmm. It's not a random act of violence. This is not some workplace violence. This is an attack on the police, on the people who protect us, the everyday citizens.
Pretty much, and frankly, when I see things like this, I'm so happy to be a part of a campaign that is going to fight for and help Americans, police officers in every step of the way, and it is really something that is absolutely amazing. Anyway, Vito, I want you all to check out Bob Capano's website, www.bobcapano.com, and see how you can get involved, donate, and try to fight for this cause, because New York is such a lost city, and we need every help we can get. So come on, ladies and gentlemen, get on down, www.bobcapano.com, and let's make a difference.
And, all politics is local. This is where it starts. Donald Trump's the president now, coming in. We got to focus on local stuff. This is where we live. The Blue Lives Matter bill will affect us. The heroin shoot-up facilities, that affects us. And people like Bob Capano are fighting against it, fighting to make the city better. And that's what you need. You need these kind of people in your local governments.
That's right. So let's go ahead and fight for that. Anyway, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. We got a big topic to talk about. Everyone's seen this Facebook video of African Americans, 4 African American youths beating up a special needs child. A special needs child who was white. After putting it on Facebook, they are finally filing hate crime charges against these 4 youths. And if you look at these mugshots, they are disgusting. They are absolutely disgusting. Nothing but gangbangers and people who want to cause trouble. They were screaming in the video, F Donald Trump, forget Donald Trump. These people are absolutely disgusting and despicable. Their ages are pretty much 18 and 24. That's the age range, and it's absolutely disgusting as to what we've seen. If you haven't seen this video, go to our Twitter, at Vito and Vito Show, our Facebook, at Vito and Vito Show, and our Instagram, at Vito and Vito Show. The video is up there, our comments are up there, and it's absolutely despicable as to what you have seen. So the question is, Vito, is there a war on white Americans in this country? White, straight males in this country?
Yes.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Explain.
Absolutely, and the races have become divided. This country has become divided because of President Obama, Eric Holder, and this entire administration that we see. And when any time a white person would speak out or say something, they immediately get attacked. No matter what they say, they're called sexist, homophobic, racist, this and that. They hate Islamic phobes. They get everything. And it doesn't matter what they say, because then the opposite race can say whatever they want. And the opposite party, the Democrats, can say whatever they want. And they're hypocrites. And it's fueled by the political correctness.
It's not just political correctness, Vito. It's also an absolute disdain for white Americans. And when I say that, I don't mean to be, quote, racist, because it's not really what I give a damn about. I care about the truth. And frankly, African Americans, let me explain. African Americans have a special, they are a protected class. Just as much as homosexuals are protected class, and transsexuals, and women, and it goes on and on and on. There's more protected classes that the left designates than there are anything else. As a result of that, the more and more protected classes that you see, the more and more problems arise. Because the question is, who's not a protected class? And pretty much the only group of people who aren't a protected class are white people. White straight males. So it's okay to attack them. It's okay to go after them. It is accepted by the left's culture of victimhood to go after people who are not like the cause that you're, quote, fighting for. I don't care if it's not politically correct or not. I'm going to say it. I see it on college campuses all the time. You're not allowed to have an opinion on Black Lives Matter or anything else for that matter because it's racist if you don't have the same thing. If you don't have the same skin color, you don't agree in the same idea. If you disagree with these people, these radical leftists who have pent up on killing police officers, and committing, quote, white genocide like we saw on Christmas. Remember that, Vito?
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely stunning what we have seen. At the same time, I just want the people of America to know, and pretty much everyone who's listening agrees with us. But if you don't, deep down, think about it. What trials and tribulations do the black community face today that the white community doesn't? I don't want to hear this nonsense that black people don't have a special privilege like white people have, this white privilege argument. I don't want to hear the argument that there are people out there who are struggling just because they're black. I don't want to hear that. It's 2017. 2017. 2017. If you're going to claim that argument, you better have some facts to support it. And when African American birth rates out of wedlock are at 70%, 70%, when the number one killer of black men is other black men, year after year after year, when more white people are shot by police officers than black people, you're going to have to explain to me, ladies and gentlemen, just how dangerous and how crazy this world is for a black guy. I don't give a damn what you are, what color you are, where you stand in society. You're a human being. And I think in 2017, everyone pretty much has the same idea. It's the contents of your character that matter, not the color of your skin. And I don't see how much more clear I could be.
And these are the problems that face America today.
Yeah, pretty much. Way to narrow it down, Vito.
Yeah, and these politicians on the left just keep fueling it. You see Mayor Bill de Blasio. I cannot stand this man. How he continues. He put out a video a couple weeks ago around Thanksgiving, and it was him speaking, and he was saying how we stand with the LGBT in New York City. And it would cut away, we stand with the African Americans and this. And he went through every minority, every class, everything you could think of, except white people. White, straight males.
The kids that beat up that that white teen, by the way, were screaming F Donald Trump and F white people.
That has to be a hate crime.
Now, there was a woman on CNN who claimed, and I believe her name was Simone Sanders, she worked for Bernie Sanders. I think she worked for Hillary, I'm not so sure. I know she worked for Bernie. And she was an African-American, big Black Lives Matter supporter, and she clearly stated there is no way this is a hate crime. And it goes back to the logic that white people can't be racist. Vito, have you heard this ludicrous argument out of these people?
That black people can't be racist.
The white people can't be racist. Or black people can't be racist. Because racism implies power.
No.
I don't understand it. I do not understand it. This horrific act is not on Donald Trump, is not on other people. It's on you, Black Lives Matter. It's on the social justice warriors parading around the campus claiming this argument that there is no way, no how, no feasible possible way that in today's society a black man can succeed. This is what they're telling the people. This is what they're telling young impressionable college students. This is what they're telling African Americans. There's no way you can succeed because you're black. You don't have the privileges of a white man. It's ridiculous, and I cannot stand it. I don't like this argument that if you're white, you don't understand Black Lives Matter. I don't like it at all, Vito. It absolutely drives me up a wall, and I just don't know what even to say anymore. This has gotten on to the point where it continues to get worse and worse and worse, and nobody seems to get up and say anything about it. The only person pretty much being Donald Trump to explicitly call out Black Lives Matter and say we're not going to deal with this.
That's what I was going to say. But I mean, how much change could really happen with Donald Trump? I mean, he's just one person. You know, there's much more into this country than just the president. You know, how can that help race relations in this country?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question to you.
How do we improve race relations
with Donald Trump?
I think if Trump, I put it like this, okay? For the past 8 years, the black community has not gotten better. They are actually at record high unemployment rates. The black community is not at good rates when it comes down to single motherhood. They are not at good rates when it comes down to murders. I mean, look at Chicago. Chicago's at an all-time high in terms of shootings and murders. It's absolutely ridiculous. President Obama giving his last speech in Chicago. Irony. Guy's going to probably claim about how great his gun control programs were and the horrific effects of gun control are pretty much all over the place in Chicago. But pretty much, aside from that, we're going to see this talk from the left that this is a problem. Race is a problem. You can't succeed because you're black. But I think with Donald Trump's policies, and any conservative sort of policy for that matter, lower taxes, lower regulation, a support. I mean, look what Donald Trump is doing in terms of just keeping jobs in the country. I mean, that's pretty much something that's going to bolster a local economy. He did it with Carrier, and he did it with Ford. These things are going to bolster jobs for the American people. Bolster a local economy. Give people an income again. So when you do that, you're creating an atmosphere where economic prosperity across the board, regardless of race, is being cherished. The goal being people getting rich. That's going to be met, which I think is ultimately going to improve race relations. Because when you're better off financially, people aren't so worried about the nonsense that's going on right here in the black communities.
Yeah, but then you're assuming that these black communities the crime rate's going to drop because employment's going to increase. But I don't see that happening. I see general, the United States in general improving and the economy doing well and people getting jobs, everything doing fine. But specifically the black community.
What is the number one problem plaguing the African American community today? Or any low income community? It doesn't have to be African American, anything.
Was it high crime rate?
Hispanics or whatever. No. What is the number one problem?
No education.
Education. And what is Donald Trump's plan for education?
What is it?
School choice. He's made it a plan to get school choice passed, a repeal of Common Core, a focus on localized education in order to bring back education to the states. And he says it time and time again. His education secretary is someone who is willing to do that. The GOP House and Senate is willing to do that.
Hopefully.
Think about it. Think of a poor kid, black, white, don't matter, in any sort of poor neighborhood. What does he rely on? Government-run schools, government-run food stamps, government-run health care, government-run parks, government-run housing. Can you tell me how any of these things are beneficial to that person? Because they're really not. So Donald Trump is trying to give the tools back to the American people. You want to increase race relations in this country? You increase the economy. You better the economy. You make people better off. And you do that by giving people the incentive to want to change. And you do that by freeing up taxes, giving people their own money back, lowering regulation, encouraging hiring, and having people work to better themselves and their community.
And that's a long road. I mean, Donald Trump with the school choice.
It could definitely be done. It could absolutely be done.
Yeah, but it's going to take much longer than this administration. I definitely think that. But hopefully it does improve because so far with the election, with the general election of Donald Trump, race relations are horrific. As you see with this hate crime.
Well, I mean, who's responsible for that?
Not Donald Trump.
Well, who is?
It's the black community.
Mm-hmm.
That's rising out because they think that everything Donald Trump and all his supporters are racist.
I can't just blame the black community.
I blame the liberal media.
I blame them. I also blame President Obama.
Oh, of course.
You can't just blame a group of people. But I blame the instigators and the race baiters like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and the Mark Lamont's Hill out there. I blame them, the Simone Sanders. I blame you for what's going on in this world. For the deterioration of race relations in the United States. You're the problem. And I want that to be understood. When we come back into Vito and Vito, we're going to talk about Forget About Moments of the Week. Don't go anywhere here on Vito and Vito. We'll be right back after this.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
Your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the California Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org, brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
We're back here on the Vito and Vito Show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. And just to recap tonight's program, we had Bob Capano on, city council candidate. Go to www.bobcapano.com, bobcapano.com, bobcapano.com. I'm going to stress that 3 times.
You want to spell it out for them?
No, bobcapano.com. You can enunciate it. Check it out there. This guy is fighting for the city council here in New York for a seat here to fight up against Mayor Bill de Blasio, the anti-police officer mayor the city has ever seen. So we want you to stand up and fight up against leftism by supporting a candidate like Bob Capano, because he's a guy that is going to fight for conservative values, and that is pretty much protecting police officers, giving you more of your money, letting you keep more of your money, rather, and allowing businesses to prosper. So let's go ahead and get those things done. Go to bobcapano.com, try to donate, see what you can do to get involved. We also talked about the abuse that a special needs white person suffered under the hands of 4 African-American teens after they beat this poor kid up, screaming F Donald Trump, F white people. They've been charged with a hate crime after there has been much scrutiny. It's been delayed, and people have been calling and pretty much criticizing on the left, have been criticizing this the branding of this incident as a hate crime. If you haven't seen it, go to our Twitters, Facebook, and Instagrams at Vito and Vito Show. You can see this. It is an absolute disgusting act. 4 African-American youths beating up a special needs white person because he's white, screaming F Donald Trump, F white people. And we went on to a full rant with that. And now it's time to forget about it over the week here on the Vito and Vito Show.
Forget about it?
Forget about it.
Forget about it. Paul, forget about it.
Forget about it moments here of the Vito and Vito Show. Forget about it moments of the week. We break down some of the craziest moments this past week. Vito, what do you got?
Well, you want the somewhat sad news, ridiculous news, or the kind of funny news?
Let's get the sad news out of the way so we can cheer up a little later.
All right, an elderly couple in Las Vegas committed double suicide. They jumped off of a parking garage.
Why?
I don't know. They committed suicide together.
Oh, it's
like
terrible.
a Thelma and Louise kind of thing I thought of.
That's terrible. That's sad. Poor couple. There's no reason as to why they killed themselves?
No, nothing out yet.
That is awful.
Just, Maybe they're just tired.
Maybe. That's awful. I feel for those two people, and I guess this show's for you as well. You know the guy from MASH died, right, on New Year's Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah, sad, right?
They just had to get him in there.
I had to get him in there in 2016. Who do you think? So play a game. Who do you think is going to go first in 2017? What famous celebrity do you think is going to croak first?
We're going to bet on this, right?
Well, I guess so. Why not?
It's
kind of sick, but let's do it anyway. Let's see where it goes.
Someone could have won a lot of money this year. How old is the Queen? Queen Elizabeth. She's got to be up there somewhere. I might put my money on Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth, you said? I'm having a coffee attack. Excuse me. Queen Elizabeth, you think?
Yeah. Or is she get, like, frozen or, like, the right hand of the father or some shit?
All right. So we got Queen Elizabeth.
She the second?
I am going to go with...
Don't say anyone I like.
I think Keith Richards. This is his last year.
You're such an ass.
I think so.
Why would you say that?
I think this is his last year. If everybody else is croaking, I got a feeling Keith Richards, this is the end of him.
Why? He survived 2016.
Yeah, I don't know if he could try 2017. The whole new ball game, Vito.
Unbelievable. Here's a tour.
I don't know.
He's plans. He's doing things.
I don't know if his heart can take it.
Queen Elizabeth makes sense. She's like 112.
And what's Keith Richards?
Like 110.
All right. And with all the drugs he has in his body, that means about 300 years old. What else you got?
Doesn't kill you, make you stronger.
What else you got?
Wait, first of all, how much are we betting on this?
Let's see. What's a good bet here, ladies and gentlemen?
Because this is next. So if somebody else famous dies before them, two resets, right? So let's go with $100.
$100?
What is the chances Keith Richards or the Queen's gonna die next?
I don't know. I don't want to take that chance. $100 is too much. We'll do something political.
What? Because you really think the Queen's gonna die?
Yeah, I'll take a picture. Okay, how about this? Whoever loses this bet, whoever dies first, the loser has to wear a Hillary Clinton hat. One of those Hillary buttons. Somebody, because I live in New York, so people hand them out all the time. So you can just take one of those and put them on your shirt. You got to take a picture with it. You got to get all dressed up like a liberal.
So if Queen Elizabeth dies
so you got to grow your beard out, you got to dye your hair, the whole 9 yards, and you got to take a picture with that thing.
All right, deal.
All right.
Shake on it.
All right, there we go. Shake on it, ladies and gentlemen. Right here on the Vito and Vito Show. What else you got?
Rachel Maddow, she asked Trump if Donald Trump will put her in a camp.
Why is he going to put her in a camp?
Because Donald Trump wants to have mass genocide and kill all the people on the earth.
Is that what?
Like Hitler.
You see what I mean? The one guy, and you see, because we didn't have a show this week, but I just want to throw this in there. The United Nations, the pretty much anti-freedom and democracy group of people around the world, got together and condemned Israel for expanding settlements out into the sick, barbaric world known as Gaza and the West Bank. As a result, they condemned these settlements. The United States took an abstention vote, so they didn't even take a position whether it's right or wrong for Israel to continue the settlement projects. Well, sure enough, the only guy pretty much defending Israel is the Republicans in Congress, and of course, Donald Trump. The same guy who liberals are saying is Hitler. The guy who is defending Israel, people are calling him Hitler. I mean, do you not see the irony in some of these people? How is this guy going to get rid of all of these groups of people that you were so against? That you say he's against. I don't understand. They say that Donald Trump's against blacks, against gays, against women, against trans, against whatever the hell is out there. I can't believe any of this because none of this is true. There's no way Donald Trump is putting anybody in a camp, and Rachel Maddow just being her hysterical self, and it is so funny to watch these people squirm. It's going to be a very, very fun New Year's.
Can you believe that? These people actually believe that the United States government, led by Donald Trump, is going to come to their house and put them into a camp. Like, round the people up and kill them.
I swear, these people are living in another world.
And Maddow was saying, she was reading a book about when Hitler first became chancellor and everything he was doing.
Here we go. All right. So Hitler took a bath. Donald Trump takes baths. Therefore, Donald Trump is Hitler.
Yeah.
Come on. What kind of logic is this?
You know, Hitler was elected, and so was Trump, and they were both on the cover of Time.
No, blah, blah,
and
blah,
they both speak.
Wasn't Obama on the cover of Time? I'm sure he was Time Man of the Year, right?
Wasn't the Pope?
The Pope.
Gandhi?
The protester?
Muhammad?
I don't think Muhammad ever made an appearance on any cover.
Give it a second.
Give it a second?
Give it a couple days.
Absolutely terrible. What else you got, Vito? Last one.
A naked woman stole a sheriff's police car and led the cops on a high-speed chase in Arizona.
Why?
And then she, don't know.
Okay, go ahead. So she led the police on a high-speed
Do
chase.
any of these people really have reasons for doing these things?
That's why it's called Forget About It, because we don't really understand what the hell they're doing.
Right. So she stole the sheriff's car.
All right.
Not just a regular squad car.
And
the
she took
sheriff.
off.
Took off. They chased her, and then she crashed, and they arrested her. And she was butt naked.
Just why?
I'm going to assume there was drugs or alcohol.
Maybe she was just bored. Maybe she had a tough night on the town.
Bored?
Yeah. You ever get bored and just drive around naked?
No.
Oh, I tell you, it's exhilarating. Lower the windows and just let your freak flag fly. Anyway, I want to thank you for listening to the Vito and Vito show. Check out the website, www.vitoandvito.com. Give us a follow at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Vito and Vito Show. Don't forget, next week here on the Vito and Vito Show is going to be a lot of fun when we have a very special guest calling in. That's right, Vito. Now you got to go find me a special guest.
Okay, no pressure.
We're going to see what we can do for you, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have you back here. Don't forget, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa. I know it's late, but we're ringing in anyway. Vito and Vito waking up from their
Happy
hangover.
Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing
Little
Day.
Christmas.
We are waking
What
up
else
from
is there?
our holiday hangover, and we're bringing you the best in conservative talk in Brooklyn.
It's nothing but the truth.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in the recovery of
your neighbor, the waiter, grandmother, grandfather.
So learn FAST, the sudden signs of a stroke, then pass it on, because you never know who might save you.
Your wife, your colleague.
Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org, brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the California Society of CPAs, and the Ad Council.
Fighting the Common Core standards? Need a powerful tool to help inform others on this harmful education initiative? You're covered with Common Ground on Common Core, the collection of essays by 20 top education experts and activists. Reviewers call it the best single resource on the topic. You can share it with literally anyone. Order your print or digital copy of Common Ground on Common Core today. Just visit resoundingbooks.org. That's resoundingbooks.org. And get $2 off when you tell them Vito and Vito sent you. Paid for by Resounding Books Pack.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan. We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ReadyPA.org, brought to you by ReadyPA, FEMA, and the Ad Council.